Hey guys, today we're reviewing the NK65 Entry Edition. If you've caught my aluminum NK65 review, spoiler alert, this is going to have lots of similarities, so check that video out if you haven't. Anyway, catch you all after the break. The NK65 Entry Edition is Novelkeys' budget 65% offering, retailing at just 95 bucks. It pretty much shares most of the same properties as the NK65 aluminum, but the key difference is that it's made out of polycarbonate. As you can see, the specs are almost identical. You've got USB-C, per-key RGB lighting, plate mount stabilizers, 8-degree typing angle, and others. Let's look at the carrying case. One thing I commented about on the Ali version was that the case seemed a little too thin for a board that heavy. I doubted its ability to withstand any impact if dropped. However, on a much lighter board such as the NK65EE, that doesn't seem to be an issue. I do wish there was some kind of handle here though. The chassis features a seamless design and is basically a polycarb variant of the original NK65. It's a hybrid top mount and tray mount system in which 2 screws affix the PCB to the plate, 12 screws affix the plate to the top half of the case, and 5 screws secure the plate and PCB to the bottom half. As a result, the typing feel is not as stiff as a tray mount, but not as soft as a top mount. There are also 3 holes here for LED indicator support. These can all be configured using VIA. The NK65EE retains the same aluminum plate as the more expensive variant, so we're still going to be stuck with plate mount only stabs. In my opinion, these Novelkey branded stabilizers seem quite good and do exceed previous stabs included. However, my curiosity led me to replacing the stems with C3 ones for a better, well, maybe better typing experience. We also still have that same non-blockered layout, which is actually one of my major gripes about this board. Flip the board around and you'll see the Novelkeys logo along with 2 long rubber feet. The board is also available in a variety of different colors, and if you've been paying attention, there are quite a few collabs for a special edition NK65EE. If you're watching this video right when it comes out, the current special edition is to collab with SuperUser. One thing noticeably different is due to the polycarb housing, this board is near impossible to take apart. And if you're successful, it's near impossible to put back together. Why is this important? Due to the nature of hot swap sockets being so easy to pop off, I am of the opinion that when inserting switches, you must always support the back of the hot swap socket. Without being able to take the board apart, you are relying solely on the screws holding the PCB to the plate and the dampening on the back to keep those sockets from popping off during an insertion cycle. Many people say it's sufficient, but I just like to be a little more cautious. One more thing to add is that even though the parts are so similar, you cannot mix and match the polycard top with the aluminum bottom or vice versa. The parts simply won't fit. Another issue that I've been noticing is that there are quite a few number of customers who have reported cracks in their cases, myself included unfortunately. For the majority of people, these cracks are located inside and are not noticeable once the board is fully built. I'm going to say that your mileage may vary, but it is definitely annoying to see this on a brand new board. Thankfully, despite the flexier nature of the board, it doesn't seem to contribute to further cracking. The PCB is no different from the aluminum variant. This was designed by Yankar, sporting an ARM MCU, USB-C, in-switch RGB, and hot swap. Since the release of my original review, there have been quite a few updates. One major feature is that the V1.3 PCB now has ESD protection. Unfortunately, at the time of this video, the only place you can purchase this new ESD protected PCB is from extras on Novelkeys. Neither my original V1 nor my newest entry edition have this. If you happen to live in a dry environment or shock everything around you on a regular basis, this is something you should absolutely consider. Going forward though, I expect all their future NK65s to have this new PCB. Thankfully, ESD damage does not seem to occur on the NK65 Entry Edition very often. This might be due to its polycarbonate case. In terms of software, the PCB supports QMK and VIA, with VIA enabled direct from the factory. You do not need to reflash this board when you get it. I will have to point out that once again there have been some updates since the last video. There is now an advanced tab under lighting that allows you to configure certain capabilities, such as configuring each of the 3 indicators to correspond to either layer or caps lock, or doing the same kind of indication but on the RGB LEDs. In addition, you're also able to adjust LED sleep timeout and do a disable LEDs when USB is suspended. This was not present on VIA way back when I got my original NK65, so if you've had one for a while, such as myself, make sure you update the firmware. If you caught my build stream of this many moons ago, you know I was really hoping to have this replace my Alu version. I built it with the same Teleo switches and similar keycaps. I was really hoping to compare the two and come out with a clear winner. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Neither had a typing feel or typing sound that was leagues better than the other. Neither looked aesthetically superior to the other. They were just different. I concluded that overall, the Alu was still the better board. This was largely due to being able to support the hot swap better, but I also thought that it sounded a tiny bit better. So the entry edition had more thought, but it just wasn't at the right pitch, if you know what I mean. I may also be slightly biased as I own one of the first editions of the NK65. It still features the old logo, which in my opinion fills out the bottom much better. If we ever get an updated version of the NK65, I'd love to see the following implemented. A blockered layout separating arrow keys from the rest of the mods, an option to use both PCB and plate mount stabilizers, and last but not the least, a more efficient way to disassemble the board. In conclusion, this is a great board. It packs a lot of features into a very affordable and commonly in-stock package. Do be aware that some units can arrive cracked, and if you're concerned about hot swap sockets popping, it's more difficult to prevent that on this board. Thanks guys for watching, and I hope this review allowed you to decide if the NK65 Entry Edition is the right board for you. I'll catch you all in the next video. Goodbye now.